to this next one though. Let's get right into the next one. We got world's the word nigga. Can you speak? The worst truth to dare deaths possible. The truth to dares get to like a point, so it's just like I don't know what you decided was an okay idea to do. We finna see. Sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the noti bell. Sub to follow my Twitch if you haven't. Let's get into it.
On May 24th, 2023, just days after graduating high school, 18-year-old Cameron Robbins from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was celebrating with several hundred classmates on a trip to the Bahamas. They were staying at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort in Nassau. That evening, the group attended a sunset party cruise aboard Blackbeard's Revenge, a pirate-themed party boat. Around 9:40 p.m., near the uninhabited Athol Island northeast of Nassau, someone dared Cameron to jump off the boat into the dark ocean. Several students tried to grab him and stop him. They reached for him, attempting to hold him back, but Cameron broke free from their grip. He jumped into the water. Footage captured the aftermath. Cameron could be seen swimming in the dark waters. Friends threw a life preserver toward him. People screamed, "Grab the buoy!"
Run that back. What was the dare?
Someone dared Cameron to jump off the boat into the dark ocean. Several students tried to grab him and stop him. They reached for him, attempting to hold him back, but Cameron broke free from their grip. He jumped into the water. Footage captured the aftermath. Cameron could be seen swimming in the dark waters. Friends threw a life preserver toward him. People screamed, "Grab the buoy! Hey, the buoy!" They were trying desperately to direct him to the flotation device, but Cameron appeared to swim away from it. Within seconds, he vanished from view. The boat remained anchored for hours as students searched frantically. The U.S. Coast Guard, Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and United Cajun Navy searched the waters until about 3 a.m. Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Raymond King called the area really shark-infested. He said, "The probability of survival decreases significantly, particularly if a person did not have on a life vest, and particularly if a person is perceived to be intoxicated." The search covered 325 miles over 2 days. On May 27th, authorities called off the search. Cameron Robbins was officially designated lost at sea. His body was never recovered. A memorial service was held at Broadmoor United Methodist Church in Baton Rouge. Cameron was described by his baseball coach as a fierce competitor and by his family as funny and kind-hearted. My darkest secret. On May 28, 2018, in the early hours of the morning, a neighbor looked out her window in Heysham, Lancashire, and saw flames at 94-year-old Mary Gregory's bungalow. Firefighters rushed to the scene and found Mrs. Gregory unconscious in the conservatory, suffering from smoke inhalation. She was treated by paramedics and rushed to Royal Lancaster Hospital, but died 4 days later. An investigation by Lancashire Fire and Rescue Service concluded the most probable cause was a dropped or carelessly discarded cigarette. Mrs. Gregory was a heavy smoker with dementia. The coroner recorded a verdict of accidental death. The case was closed. Then, weeks after the funeral, during a game of Truth or Dare with two friends, 17-year-old Tiernan Darnton revealed his darkest secret. He told them, "I have a secret I haven't told anyone.
I heard about this.
Someone." His friends didn't believe him.
I heard about this.
He persuaded them to keep quiet. But in May 2019, during a counseling session, Darnton mentioned a friend who could send me to prison cause of what he knows. He added that he had felt powerful at Mrs. Gregory's funeral because he knew what had happened, and everyone else in the room didn't. The counselor ended the session by saying, "I think you're trying to tell me you've killed someone." Darnton mouthed, "Yes." Police reopened the case. They discovered drawings of Mrs. Gregory's floor plan with labels like "good hiding place" and "quick exit." Evidence showed he had set the curtains on fire with a lighter, unplugged the phone, disabled a smoke alarm, and placed a table in front of the conservatory doors to block her escape. Investigators found disturbing searches under 18 murder and "how long do murderers serve in prison?" In November 2021, Darnton was convicted of murder and sentenced to life with a minimum of 15 years. The bridge incident. On a summer day in 2024, two teenagers, ages 15 and 16, were part of a group chat where dares were being shared among friends. The conversation turned to jumping off a bridge into Lake Hartwell, South Carolina. The pressure mounted through messages. Other teens egged them on. The two decided to go through with it. They drove to the bridge and climbed onto the railing. The drop to the water below was significant. Without hesitation, both teens jumped. They plunged into Lake Hartwell. Friends watching from the shore expected to see them surface. Seconds passed, then minutes. Neither came back up. Emergency services were called immediately. dive teams searched the lake. Eventually, both bodies were recovered. Neither teen had made it back to shore. The local community was devastated. Candlelight vigils were held. Parents gathered, holding candles and photographs of the two teenagers. Flowers and messages were left at the bridge. In the days that followed, parents across the community warned about peer pressure games spreading through social media. The group chat that had contained the dare was examined by authorities. Friends who had participated in encouraging the jump were left traumatized. Counselors were brought into local schools. The deaths sparked conversations about the deadly consequences of online dares. The bridge where the teenagers jumped became a memorial site. Parents begged other teenagers to think before accepting dangerous dares, no matter how much pressure they felt from their peers. The community mourned 2 young lives lost to a moment of reckless decision-making. The boiling water incident. On March 22nd, 2017, in Florida, 8-year-old Kihari Pope was at a sleepover with her cousin and friends. The children decided to play Truth or Dare. The game started innocently enough. Then, someone dared Kiari to drink boiling water through a straw.
The other fuck type of dare is that? That is death. That is not a friend. That is... Nah, these are little kids. They don't know no better. But like, that is not a dare at all. That's just a setup for failure.
Thought it would be funny to see if she would actually do it. Kihari accepted the dare. She put the straw to her lips and drank the scalding liquid. Immediately, she began screaming in agony. The boiling water burned her mouth, throat, and lungs. She collapsed. The adults rushed her to the hospital. Doctors discovered she had suffered severe internal burns to her throat and respiratory system. Kihari was placed in intensive care. She underwent multiple surgeries. For months, she lived with severe complications from the burns. Her airway was damaged. She struggled to breathe. The internal injuries were catastrophic. Despite the medical team's efforts, Kiari's condition continued to deteriorate.
You can't save stupidity though. Like shit, like that just gotta happen to some people. Some people just ain't born with good enough sense to not do something like that at
the damage to her throat and lungs was too extensive. Eventually, 4 months later, she died from the injuries sustained from drinking the boiling water. The case shocked the nation. Parents were horrified that such a simple dare could result in death. Warning messages spread across social media about the deadly risks of dares among children. Kihari's family spoke out, hoping to prevent other children from accepting dangerous dares. Her death became a cautionary tale in schools across the country. The children who had dared her to drink the boiling water were left traumatized by what had happened. Kihari Pope was just 8 years old. The slug incident. On a warm evening in 2010,
that's old enough to know not to do that. That's just unfortunate on her end.
19-year-old Sam Ballard was at a party in Sydney, Australia with his rugby teammates. They were drinking wine in a backyard. The conversation was lighthearted. Then someone spotted a garden slug crawling across the patio. As a joke, one of Sam's friends dared him to swallow it. Everyone laughed. It seemed like harmless fun. Sam picked up the slug and swallowed it whole. Everyone cheered. The party continued. Sam went home that night thinking nothing of it. Days passed. Then Sam began feeling strange. He developed severe pain in his legs. Within weeks, he could barely walk. He went to the hospital. Doctors discovered the slug had carried rat lungworm parasites. The parasites had infected Sam's brain, causing a severe infection called eosinophilic meningoencephalitis. Sam fell into a coma for 420 days.
420. That's a year and what? 60. That's a year and 3 months.
When he finally woke up, he was paralyzed from the neck down. The infection had left him a quadriplegic. He couldn't walk, couldn't feed himself, couldn't breathe without assistance.
For
just
8
years,
of me.
Sam lived with severe disabilities, requiring
just get rid of me. If I'm
his
just
mother
stuck looking like that.
full-time caregiver. Sam's friends were devastated by what their dare had caused. In 2018, 8 years after swallowing the slug, Sam Ballard died from complications related to the infection. He was 28 years old.
Just get rid of
His
me.
death highlighted the hidden dangers
Please
that can
do
lurk
not force me to stay alive
dares.
with that shit.
Sam's friends carried the weight of what had happened for the rest of their lives. The fireworks incident. On October 24, 2024, during Diwali celebrations in Bengaluru, India, a group of friends gathered to celebrate the Festival of Lights. Fireworks were everywhere. The night air was filled with explosions and colorful displays. The men had been drinking, and the atmosphere was festive and reckless. Someone brought out a large box of fireworks and suggested a dare. They challenged a 32-year-old man in the group to sit on top of the box while they lit the fuses.
The fuck you expect to happen? That man probably blew up off impact, sheer impact. And
friends laughed and egged him on. The man, emboldened by alcohol and peer pressure, agreed.
Alcohol does not move me in this sense. Common sense has to lock in with you and you be like, no.
He climbed onto the box and sat down. His friends lit the fireworks. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire box exploded beneath him. The force of the blast was catastrophic. The man was thrown into the air. The explosives detonated with tremendous power, causing fatal injuries. Friends screamed and rushed to help, but it was too late. Emergency services arrived quickly, but the man died at the scene from his injuries.
Immediately.
Witnesses told police it had been part of a dare. The case received widespread coverage across India. News outlets showed footage of the aftermath, warning others about the dangers of combining alcohol, fireworks, and peer pressure. The man's family was left to mourn a senseless death. His friends who had encouraged the dare were left traumatized and guilt-ridden. Authorities used the incident as a warning during future Diwali celebrations. Senior assassin incident. On a day in May 2025, high school seniors in Arlington, Texas, were participating in Senior Assassin, a popular end-of-school tradition. The game involves students chasing each other with water guns, trying to eliminate opponents. It's meant to be harmless fun, a way for graduating seniors to bond before heading to college. Players track each other's locations and stage surprise attacks. That afternoon, 17-year-old Isaac Leal was participating in the game with friends. They had spotted their target and began pursuit in a Jeep. The chase intensified. The vehicle accelerated through streets. The adrenaline was high. The teenagers were laughing and yelling, caught up in the excitement of the game. As the pursuit continued, Isaac climbed onto the back of the moving Jeep. He was trying to get a better position during the chase.
Niggas think this shit G.I. Joe or something? You thought this was... Thought you was the one for
Friends
real?
later said he was riding on the exterior of the vehicle. Then the Jeep hit a bump in the road.
Ooh,
Isaac lost his grip and fell from the moving vehicle onto the street.
Oh, he face planted.
His head hit the pavement with devastating force.
He face
The Jeep
planted.
screeched to a halt. Friends jumped out. Screaming.
Oh, he's done.
Someone called emergency.
You see, you cannot save stupidity in no type of way. Like that fella just got to go out bad, for real.
Emergency services. Isaac was rushed to the hospital with catastrophic head injuries. For weeks, he remained in intensive care, clinging to life. Doctors did everything they could. His family kept vigil at his bedside, but the injuries were too severe. In early June 2025, after weeks in the hospital, Isaac Leal died from his injuries. Investigators confirmed the death occurred during the Senior Assassin game. The incident sparked debate about whether such games should be banned.
Hold on, chat. In GTA 6, there are around 700 buildings that you can enter. GTA 5 only has 100. Nigga, you cannot read. GTA 5 only has 100 buildings. Damn, nigga, you cannot read or speak. Man, I ain't gonna lie. Just give me GTA right now. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to play that shit. For real. But hey, man, we got 2 minutes. My fault. I forgot I was even ready. I got idiots on the screen. Them idiots threw me off, bruh. Bruh, if y'all like seeing idiots like this do stupid stuff and they find out, bruh, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Follow the Twitch as well, man. I'm live daily, man. Make sure y'all do that. Otherwise, I'm finna get out this joint, though, man. Peace.